Hello and welcome to the Graphic 45 YouTube channel. My name is Lynn, or LV Handcrafted here on YouTube, and today this is the project that I want to share. I'm calling it a Tri-Fold Pocket Folio. I think it's really fun to sort of use this almost like you would a loaded envelope and just stuff it full of crafty goodies and put it in the mail for a crafty friend. So let's make this. I am starting off with the latest Christmas themed collection. This is Letters to Santa, which I love. It's got a lot of very classic Santa imagery. And I've chosen from the 12 by 12 paper pad just a few of the pattern papers that I think I might like to use. I can't remember off the top of my head if this particular one is from Patterns and Solids from the same collection, or if it's one of the paper collection designs. Because I do get both, just because it's nice to have the variety, and I feel like the Patterns and Solids definitely help to stretch your core collection. So I am going to cut this down to 8 inches high by 12 inches wide. And then I'm going to cut another strip that is 2 inches wide by 12 inches tall. So if you are working with that, you want to make sure it is oriented correctly. So this is going to be 8 inches tall by 12 inches wide. And the second strip that I cut is 2 inches wide by 12 inches tall. So you may or may not be able to get everything that you need from one sheet. Often, if one side is directional, if you flip to the back, it may not be directional, so you could potentially still use it. Okay, so then starting off here, I have the 8 by 12 inch piece, and I am going to do some scoring. So with this piece, what I will do is score this at, and it kind of depends on which way you want the trifold to open up, but in this case, I'm going to score at 4 inches. Then I'm going to score at 4 3/16 of an inch. I'm just going to nudge this over by about 1/16 of an inch, so halfway in between my two tick marks. And then I'm going to score. And that's how I cheat and do 1/16 of an inch scoring. So that was at 4 3/16. Then I want to score at 8 3/16. So just 4 inches away from my previous score line. And then I want to score at 8 5/16 of an inch. So if you need those score lines again, the other way that you could do this is you could take a ruler along that 12-inch edge and just put your tick marks at 4 3/16, 8 3/16, 8 5/16, and that will get you all of the score lines that you need. So the next step is I score 2 inches from the bottom, and that's going to be the little flap that I will fold under and turn into a pocket for my Tri-Fold Pocket Folio. So just want to make sure that I am folding on all of my score lines and burnishing them well. Those little gaps that I've left, those are essentially gussets in between each of the 3 folio panels. And the reason why I've added them is so that I can actually stuff these with more with more crafty goodies, because the pockets themselves aren't going to have gussets. And so but I will leave, you'll see in a moment when I assemble this, I'll leave the pockets open on one edge so that I still can add a lot of goodies in each of the pockets, and I want to accommodate for that extra bulk, that extra thickness. So that's why I've got these gussets. On the one edge, it's an 1/8 of an inch gusset, and then on the other side, it's a 3/16 of an inch gusset. So this isn't overly thick, but it's just thick enough to maybe include a little packet of sequins, maybe a little packet of ephemera, and maybe some sheets of pattern paper. So it's not going to be super bulky, but it will accommodate offering a good variety of crafty goodies. So then my next step is going to be to form my pockets. And what I'll do is just cut away those gussets, but just from that bottom section that is 2 inches tall. So I want to make sure that I cut only to that score line, that 2-inch score line. I cut across on the score line and then down the next score line, cutting that off completely. And if you want to do what I'm doing, I'm just mitering, just a very soft angle. I'm mitering this just a little bit to take a little bit of that score line off and just make sure that when this folds up, it's nice and even and none of it kind of overlaps into the score line. So that's what it looks like with that gusset cut out. And we'll need to do that on the other side as well. Just trim down the one score line that is along that bottom edge there. Cut to that 2-inch score line, and then cut down in the opposite direction that you originally came from. And that will remove that extra bit of cardstock that is the gusset of our folio, but that little bit isn't necessary for our pockets. And in fact, in order to create 3 separate pockets, you do need to remove this bit of cardstock here. So I'm going to just do the exact same thing, cutting along the score lines and then cutting the gusset out completely, just from that 2-inch bottom section there. And then that gives us our 3 pocket flaps. So we can just then glue those pocket flaps down. And that's what it'll look like on the inside there. And it's really nice to use a pattern paper that's double-sided because it is so easy to decorate because it looks good from the outside and it looks good from the inside too. So to create the pockets, what I will do is I'm going to use liquid adhesive because I can actually get a really fine line. And I figured before I close off the pockets, I'm going to cut my mats and layers and everything that I need to decorate, just in case I want to actually put a panel. Because originally I was thinking of cutting a matte layer of a different pattern paper and tucking that into the pocket as well. So if that's what you want to do, you definitely want to save gluing or closing off the pocket until after you've fully decorated everything. So what I am going to do for my mats and layers is just bring out some more papers from the paper pad, and I'm going to do a little bit of fussy cutting from some of the pattern papers as well. So I cut off some of these elements, and I decided instead of a full panel on the inside, I'm just going to use these little cut aparts that I fussy cut out of the pattern papers, so that it kind of looks like just a very eclectic mix, because there's a lot of postage stamps and almost like passport stamp style of images, and so I thought it would be nice just to collage up a few. So then to close my pockets, all I'm going to do is put a very, very thin line, maybe about 1/8 of an inch of adhesive, liquid adhesive, just down one edge. On my leftmost pocket, I will put that line of glue along the left-hand edge or the outer edge. On my middle pocket, you can really put the glue on either side. And then on the rightmost panel, I put the adhesive on the right-hand edge or the outer edge of the pocket. And the reason why I'm gluing to the outer edge of the pocket is so that things don't fall out of the pocket. At least on the opposite end, if it falls out of the pocket, it's falling into the folio, so it's still going to be contained within the folio. And I will leave that opposite edge of the pocket flap open, and the reason for that is that if I were to glue that down as well, it's really going to limit how much I can put into the pockets because the pocket won't have a gusset at all. But by leaving that edge open on each of the pockets, then it is just like a nice little flap that can actually expand a little bit. And that way I can actually put more things in that are a little bit more dimensional. Let's say, I'm thinking I might actually, for this particular one, just include some of the die-cut ephemera, maybe put them into a little baggie, and as well maybe do a little sample of ribbon from Graphic 45, and maybe some other goodies, cutting down some panels of the pattern paper, for example, just as a little bit of a sampler pack of this collection. So the mats and layers that I'm cutting for my outside panels, there's 2 of your panels will measure 4 inches by 6 inches. So 4 inches wide by 6 inches tall. And for this particular folio, this is going to open to the right. So kind of opposite the way that a book would open. So on that right panel, that measures 4 inches by 6. The middle panel also measures 4 inches by 6. And the leftmost panel measures 3 and 11/16 of an inch wide by 6 inches tall. Then I've got my belly band here. That's the 2 inch by 12 inch strip that we cut. And I like to stuff my pockets first and then just softly wrap this belly band from top to bottom around my folio. And the reason why I like to stuff my folio first is so that it already has some dimension. And that way, when I wrap my belly band around, it's accommodating for how much I might want to include in this folio, because if I were to fold this down completely flat without anything in it, it's going to be a lot thinner than what it is now, where I've stuffed it full of a little sampler pack of ephemera. I've got a little sequin pack in here, and I'm thinking I might even do include a little ATC tag from Graphic 45 and just wrap some ribbon around it as a bit of a sampler of their ribbon as well. So once you get all of that added, it's really going to bulk out this folio, and you want to make sure when you create that belly band that it can accommodate for that extra thickness. So that's why I like to just at least stuff some things into it and then wrap it around. And then I did use a nice large ephemera piece for closing up that gap between my belly band. I hope that you enjoyed this project today, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Thanks. Bye.